we played hard again, a little inconsistent. I mean, we're about 60%, I think, of what we can be. We got a long way to go yet. So we're just trying to survive in advance. You know, we played 4 games in 8 days, which is hard. So, you know, we'll take the win and move forward.
Question for Coach, just make sure we use the microphone.
Keith, I have to ask about the 14 blocks tonight, just the effort and the tenacity in the paint to just build off of each other and just what you thought of that.
Well, I told Chavi, I said, I didn't think you were ever going to block a shot again. I said, damn, you know. So, I mean, those guys are capable. They're just trying to get back in condition after being out so long. You know, they're talented guys. I mean, I told Dixon, I said, I don't know if they were interviewing you on the radio because you made 5 turnovers out of the 11 we made, or the 5 blocks. So once we clean his head up a little bit, I think he's a pretty talented guy, both those guys. Throw the ball to the same color uniform as you have, right? That's the key to the game.
David just talked about how he wants to improve his post presence so that the offense isn't relying on the 3 guards to get the ball into the paint. How much is that something that you're really emphasizing with him in terms of, I guess, filling out the offense?
So we got to give David a lot of credit. Like, he didn't do anything for 6 months, right? And really hardly practiced. And he's just so athletic that he can come out here and just play on his athleticism. But he's just scratching the surface. He's got to get healthy, got to get in better shape. But he can score inside and play outside. He just has to focus in a little bit, which, again, part of the mistakes is he's not in great shape. And he didn't get to practice. Chavi, too. And with Trey Williams out, we have to play those guys a lot, which in the long run is going to help us. You know, short term, it probably hurts us a little bit.
So did you feel like you had to worry about if these guys were going to come back after an emotional win or emotional loss?
They've had very few days of practice where I've had to push them. I thought emotionally they were happy. We didn't practice yesterday, we just watched tape. But the walkthrough today, we got at it pretty good. We have good people. I mean, like at any family, there's some issues here and there. I think the biggest issue with our team, quite frankly, is playing time. You know, I think when you have 8 seniors and 8 I don't know how many grad students, but 1 million of them, you know, the guys that are used to playing more than they're playing, that's always difficult. It's difficult for them. So, like, I feel for them. But, you know, we got some good young kids, too. Like, you know, Jakob is a good, solid player. Kaylon, you know, I give Kaylon a lot of credit because he didn't really get anything. But he was ready to play when we played him the last couple of times we played him. And, you know, that doesn't even include Matoush. Matoush is a good player, too. So, like, we're on the verge of having 11 unhappy people all the time because they're all playing less than they really want to play for the most part. It's hard.
You were able to give all 3 of the guards a little bit extra rest tonight. Was that part of the plan because of the schedule, or was that an opportunity that arose because of the score?
Well, we have to play them less. Like, if we don't play them less, then we're not going to play well at the end of the year. And we have good enough players that there's no reason to play them more. You know, the comfort with them, the thing with Jimmy and Day Day is when they're on the floor, they can explode at any time. You know, but in the long run, we're better off to get them out of there and, you know, just realize that it's the law of diminishing returns, really, when they're out there too long. So they're going to make a bad play defensively, or they're going to make a mistake. You know, so it makes no sense when you have good players to play them as much as we've played them.
Keith, you touched on Jakob a little bit a couple of answers ago. It wasn't just the scoring, but his ability to stretch the floor, and it seemed like the more he played, the more he got his legs under him. As he continues to nurse and navigate, just how can these 20 minutes and this kind of stretch of confidence help him?
I mean, he's a little bit inconsistent shooting the ball at times. He's a really good passer. He's got a big brain, really smart, and he's long and he's hard to shoot over. You know, so now you're playing a 6'9" guy at the small forward spot. You know, so now there's more rim protection even with him. And he's quick enough to guard smaller guys. So he's just scratching the surface as well. The other thing about him is he's a straight professional. Like he trains like a professional. And you could tell he was around those European pro teams, because there's no ands, ifs, or buts. He knows how to be a pro. And so I think he's just scratching the surface as well. I think you're going to see a really good player at some point of his career. And he certainly can contribute this year. It's already pretty noticeable, right? He's never going to have unbelievable statistics, I don't think. But when he plays, he makes very few mistakes. He made a couple the other night. But again, he's so smart that we had him playing on the scout team and gave him no reps, which was a mistake on our part. Anybody else?
Keith, in the stretch, 3-1 overall. Obviously, you haven't watched the film in this one, but from the 4 games, just what do you feel you were happiest with, and what do you feel is the biggest growth area?
I think we're good in transition. Like we have to try to figure out ways to get in transition even more, but our half-court game has to improve. You know, we have to get better. I thought we made some strides defensively. You know, at times today we came to the ball a little bit better. We got to be more consistent there. It's all gonna, like, how great we can become will be determined by how we can score the ball inside before we're done, and who's gonna do it. So right now, like, we're kind of hit and miss a little bit there. So I think that's an area that we're gonna have to, if we can improve there and then continue to improve our knowledge and our system knowledge, then I think we can get a lot better. If we don't, we'll still be pretty formidable, but not as good as we should be.
You're going to get 4 days off here, which must feel like a month given the last week that you've just gone through. Any big plans for you and the team?
We're gonna take tomorrow off and then get ready for Nebraska. And then we have a good stretch, right? We got about a week, I think, after Nebraska, is that right?
That's correct.
And so, you know, we'll give them a couple of days for Thanksgiving, you know, and then we'll try to get better in the areas that we think we need to. Like, we'll work on our full court pressure. I think we're gonna work hard on that. We haven't trapped much. I think we can be good trapping. I think we'll work, you know, we'll play some zone in practice. Now that remains to be seen if we'll ever play any in the game, but we'll play some zone in practice. We'll keep trying to develop our inside game and playing through double teams. So there's a lot of things for us to work on, really. And then guarding the ball. We'll just continue to work hard on guarding the ball and coming to the ball and then fixing mistakes. You know, I think it sounds kind of basic, but the better you guard the ball, the better you're gonna play. So they'll get some time, but they won't get a lot. But you know, clearly we need time right now. We have not been able to practice. You know, we played so much, we haven't been able to really practice. So we flowed a little bit better today because we worked on it today a little bit, but we haven't been able to really work on some things that we need to work on. So we'll use that time to really kind of hone in on that. Good?